5:30 p.m. Tonight is Monday, October 27, 2025. This meeting of Fort Smith Public Schools Board of Education is called to order. All 7 board members are present. Good to see everybody. Fort Smith Public Schools Board members are open to the public. However, audience members are not permitted to speak or interrupt the meeting in any way, and anyone choosing to disrupt the meeting will be asked to leave immediately. Next item on our agenda is the reading of the mission and vision statement for the district. I'll start with the mission statement. Equip all students with skills to be productive members of society. And our vision statement, we are a destination district built on relationships, collaboration, and a culture of excellence. At this time, please join me in a moment of silence to be followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, next item on the agenda is citizens' participation. We will now open the meeting for public comments. This is a designated time for community members to address the board on matters before us. We have 2 folks who signed up in advance to speak. The first individual is Katie Priest. All right, and as she approaches the podium, I'll say that each speaker will be given 3 minutes to speak. We welcome your input and encourage you to speak respectfully, avoiding statements about specific students or district staff members. Board members will listen to the citizens' presentation, but will not enter into dialogue with the presenter or respond at the time of the presentation. The board may choose to discuss the issue presented at a later meeting, but is under no obligation to do so. And we'll now hear from those who wish to make public comments. So, Ms. Priest, you are recognized.
Thank you. Good evening, members of the board. My name is Katie Priest. I work for Harbor House, Inc. as the Prevention Grant Manager, and I have worked in the space of prevention for the past 9 years. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to speak about the importance of the Arkansas Prevention Needs Assessment, or the APNA. This confidential survey collects valuable information about risk and protective factors related to substance use, mental health, bullying, school safety, and overall student well-being. In short, it helps us understand what students are facing so we can respond in meaningful, data-driven ways to find solutions. The data not only shows us where we need to make improvement, but it also shows us where the school district already has a positive impact on our students. For school districts, this survey provides local, actionable data that can identify issues impacting academic performance, strengthen grant applications, evaluate prevention and wellness programs, and strengthen partnerships with families and the community. Here in Sebastian County, our Sebastian County Opioid Task Force received a $625,000 federal drug-free communities grant to reduce youth substance use. As a member of the task force board of directors, I know that the DFC program depends on accurate local data to guide prevention efforts and to ensure funding is used effectively. When participation is low because of opt-in barriers, we lose vital information that limits our ability to support students and families. In 2022, the last year that the school district provided opt-out forms for the APNA survey, about 68% of the eligible student population participated in the survey. Contrasting with the 2024 school year participation, as the school district moved to an opt-in participation form, student participation fell to just 4% of the eligible student population. As a reminder, student participation is voluntary, and every family has the opportunity to opt out of participation in the survey at any point in time, before, during the survey. Historically, Fort Smith Public Schools utilized the opt-out form, which resulted in a higher participation rate for the district. Beyond funding, this is about reducing youth substance use and preventing future overdoses. Preventing substance use today is critical so that today's youth don't become tomorrow's overdose victims. The more accurate the data, the better we can understand and meet our students' needs. From a law enforcement perspective, this data also allows us to track trends. When we identify early shifts in student behavior, law enforcement officers and prevention partners can adjust training, education, and outreach to address those changes. Ultimately, the APNA isn't just about collecting numbers, though. It's about improving outcomes. It gives educators educators, administrators, and community leaders the insight needed to build safer, healthier, and more supportive schools. So I encourage this board to continue supporting participation in the Arkansas Prevention Needs Assessment. By doing so, you're investing in our students' health, safety, and success today and for their future. Thank you for your time and for your continued commitment to the well-being of our students.
All right, thank you, Ms. Priest. And our second speaker who has signed up is Joe Elskin. Ms. Elskin, you are recognized.
Hi. Thank you. I just wanted to follow up on the comment that I made last time about the money spent on promoting public schools. It seems that a majority of the families who are benefiting from the LEARNS vouchers already had a connection to a church school or a private school. And so it seems that what I would suggest you target is homeschooled, those who are homeschooling, and maybe eventually they will realize with advertisement, with outreach, that the public schools offer more than they can offer, and particularly maybe publicizing job readiness, because I think that would make people start looking at what we do offer. Anyway, thank you.
All right, thank you, Ms. Elskin. And that will conclude the individuals who have signed up to speak for tonight. So we will move on. The next agenda item is the superintendent's report. Mr. Mahan.
Mr. President, members of the board, good evening. I've got a superintendent's report, and we'll conclude with some good things about the district I'd like to share with you. First, just wanted to let you know, as we talk about school enrollment and losing 450 students and also 1.5 million cut in federal funds, we will begin having discussions with our staff internally about some of the prioritizations of staffing positions we have, what's most important on their list of people we pay each year, and also programming, prioritizing those programming things to see, kind of get the ideals and get the discussion going that we will have to make changes in how we operate over the next 2 years and prioritize the things we feel are very essential and the things we feel like are just things that we would like to have. I always like to be based on needs versus wants and really focus on needs as we make those adjustments over the next 2 years. So just want you to know those surveys, we'll be gathering input from our leaders on the survey before we start initiating those. But if you hear something like we're cutting staff or we're changing program, we're not committing to that. We're just prioritizing what we do. And we'll be looking at that as we see what type of adjustments we have to make financially. Also, identity theft enrollment, very excited. We got the letters out to our existing employees over the next 2 weeks. Those that have retired or left us will get their letters. We have had 181 sign up thus far for the Aurora program, and we'll keep you posted as those things change and give you some reports on that each month. School within a school, one of my goals at 2.1 goal, performance goal this year is to, over the next 2 years, build a charter school within a school at Bonneville Elementary School, which will be focused on science, technology, engineering, and math, Singapore math, and Mandarin. And so we will do the letter of intent by the end of June of this year. We're starting to look at the student application process, the rubric for looking at those applications and scoring those. And also the very first thing is just get feedback on what the facility, the academy will be called. So we'll begin surveying this week some of our folks about the name of the program, and we have 3 options. We have Global Innovation Academy with a slogan of where global connections meet local innovation. International School of Innovation is the second choice, and Global School of Innovation is the third choice. So we'll start doing some surveys on the actual name for that charter school. So we're pretty excited about that work. Just a quick update on Peak as well. I believe some of the drainage in phase 1 of rerouting roof drainage systems out a different way, an alternative way, is either at completion or near completion, so we're moving in that direction. There will be another phase that I'll bring to you all, or have our facilities department bring to you in November or December, about a phase 2 of corrective construction at Peak. So that'll be coming up in the next couple of months. We'll present that to you as well. Community advisory meet, the superintendent update. I told you to give you a report. We had the first one earlier, I believe it was in September. Time flies. at the library. Had about 10 individuals from the community show up and engage, and did a presentation, and we had some discussions around civic engagement, around LEARNS legislation, around enrollment, right sizing, but very good participation. Appreciate that. We have 3 more events coming up over the school year, strategically placed in different locations in the city to gain access for all individuals. I also like to draw your attention to a couple of consent agenda items, just to bring those forth. You'll see the master facility plan, just reminding you, we talked about that in an excellent work session last week. We laid out the master facility plan. That's in the consent agenda if you need to look at that. Also, I have a performance goal, 6.1, that I'm requesting to change some verbiage. I had put in that goal, we'd do a monthly construction update around that goal. That's not really necessary. And so I just wanted to take that statement out of that goal with your approval. And then that leads us to good things. You'll see some pictures around our good things here. It's always a great partnership with the Chamber of Commerce here in Fort Smith and their program with Leadership Fort Smith. We hosted the Education Day, and we showcased our district and how we lead innovation and learning. The day began at Southside High School, as you see in the pictures, where the participants toured the campus. They had a soccer challenge, had a quiz bowl match, and experienced a lesson designed and simulated what English language learners face daily. The group then visited the Health Science Academy classrooms at Mercy, engaging with students and teachers about that program, and a day wrapped up at Woods Elementary School, where they had lunch and heard from Ms. Whitson and rotated through 4 fantastic sessions with some of our kids, and also saw our robotics programs, our bike program at the elementary school, and a choir performance, and I Love Teaching panel. So it was a very neat panel. And then the day concluded with a Q&A about the district, and it was a great day of connections and celebrations of the great work this district does in this community. We're also very excited to share about Cook's 50th anniversary, one of many celebrations this year around significant anniversaries. Cook Elementary marked its 50th anniversary with an evening full of celebration, community, and fun. Family, staff, and alumni enjoyed great food, lively music, hands-on STEAM activities, and highlighted the school's commitment to creativity and learning. It was a very joyful event. A lot of fun was had, and just a real celebration of 5 decades of excellence at Cook Elementary. Very excited about that as well. In Economics Arkansas, we've been a partner with this program for many, many years, a vast history of success, and it continues out at Woods Elementary. Bessie B. Moore Award winners at Woods Elementary. 3rd grade teachers Karen Mills, Allie Scantling, Julie Steck, and Elizabeth Pineda for earning Bessie B. Moore Award. Their project, Turning Lemons into Lemonade War, taught 100 students about economics and entrepreneurship. The students raised $1,100 selling lemonade to over 500 classmates and donating every dollar to the River Valley Food Bank in memory of their beloved teacher, Miss Stacy Bates. And so very proud of their great work. Really excited about this next event here, the Tillis Shoe Giveaway. Every student at Tillis Elementary received a brand new pair of shoes this month, thanks to the generous volunteers from Rye Hill Baptist Church. The halls were filled, as you see, with excitement, smiles, and some dancing, and students tried on their shoes. They were so grateful, and we're very grateful to Rye Hill Baptist Church for their generosity and their partnership. And they do this every year with one of our schools, so it's pretty phenomenal. I also like to celebrate Bonneville plant growers. 1st graders at Bonneville Elementary have been busy growing plants as part of their science unit this month. They've been exploring how plants grow and discovering the science behind what helps them thrive. Southside and Fairview partnered up for monster designing. Southside High School fashion design students teamed up with Fairview 1st graders for a fun and creative project designing monsters. The high schoolers will now bring those designs to life by sewing a real stuffed monster for every 1st grader to have. Pretty neat stuff. Always proud of our Howard Knights and Jules. Howard Knights and Jules students took a field trip to the 188th Wing, Arkansas Air National Guard, where they learned about Fort Smith's role as the center of global security with the foreign military cells. Students got a close-up look at the F-35 fighter jet and even watched one take off from as close as possible. So we'd like to thank Mayor McGill for his continual support in making some unforgettable learning experiences for our students. Southside Quiz Bowl. The varsity team won the inaugural Hogs Invitational Championship at the University of Arkansas. The Maverick team went 6-0 this weekend, including a 255-160 victory over Rogers in the championship game. So rich dynasty of success with that program. We're very proud of their great work and their commitment to our school at Southside and our district. Then I got to enjoy the Northside and Southside Band a couple of weeks ago, Congratulations to both Northside and Southside freshmen and senior high marching bands for earning superior ratings at the 25 ASBO Region 8 Marching Assessment. Their dedication, teamwork, and talent continue to make Fort Smith proud, and just another example of an amazing dynasty of success in our fine arts program. We're very proud of these young people. Another great program, our Chapin Charmers. Congratulations to them for their outstanding performance at the Southern Spirit Competition in Alma. They won first place in their category and were named the Grand Day High Point Grand Champions, defeating the other 7th through 9th grade teams in their category. So way to go to our Charmers as well, making our middle school and our district proud. We have several superintendent stars to congratulate this month. Outstanding students were recognized for their positive attitudes, hard work, and leadership. This month at Barling, we recognize Scarlett Rodriguez. At Bonneville, Blaine Stewart. At Howard, Evelyn Hernandez. At Woods, Zoe Burton. At Tillis, Perlis Arlejo. And at Upper Lane, Elsa Selicom. And we'd just like to congratulate them and say, way to go, stars. And just on a quick note, breaking news, our Southside High School volleyball team won the first round in the state tournament earlier today, defeating North Little Rock. They'll play at 2 p.m. tomorrow and beat Cabot. And then also high task, but they can do it. And I also like to thank this room of educational leaders you see behind you. They're here tonight for their school improvement plans, and appreciate their commitment, the great work they do every day, and I appreciate them being here tonight representing their school and the commitment they have to school improvement. Any questions? Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Mahan. The next agenda item is the consent agenda. Board members, as you know, the consent agenda is voted up or down as a whole unless a board member asks to remove an item for individual considerations. Board members, are there any individual items we would ask to be removed for independent consideration? All right, I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Thank you, Ms. Kraft. Is there a second? Second. Thank you, Mr. Whitaker. Any discussion? All those in favor, please indicate by raising your right hand. Consent agenda passes unanimously. Next item on the agenda is to consider the selection of a voting representative at the ASBA Annual Conference in Little Rock. Mr. Mahan.
This is an annual event. We always look to you all to entertain a motion for one person to represent the group as a voting representative at the ASBA Annual Conference, and certainly open to entertaining any nominations, or anyone like to step up and say, I'll do it.
I attend this event every year, so I don't mind to do so. I mean, if anybody else will be in attendance and would like to, I don't mind to, but I'll be there Wednesday afternoon.
I'm willing to go.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion. Mr. Harding or Mr. Whitaker.
I make a motion that Mr. Harding will be our voting delegate Wednesday at 4 o'clock in Little Rock.
All right. There's a motion that Brad Harding be the voting representative at the ASBA Annual Conference. Is there a second? Thank you, Ms. Hall. Any discussion? All those in favor, please indicate by raising your right hand. And that passes unanimously. We will now consider the approval of a waiver letter for the district's unused facilities. Mr. Mahan.
Yes, as you remember last week in our work session, construction, maintenance, and purchasing, we talked about a waiver process to kind of expedite the process of putting Bell Point on the market. It'll follow all the rules and regulations that are outlined by the State Department for notification of charter schools who have first right of sale for any of our facilities. So, Mr. Schaefer?
Thank you. Good evening, board members, Mr. President, Mr. Mahan. Tonight we want to talk about a waiver letter, consider approval for waiver letter for Bell Point. You remember during the work session we had a good discussion about a waiver letter as it pertains to underutilized or unused facilities. According to Arkansas Code 6-21-816 requires that if a school district determines that any public school facility or other real estate property is no longer needed for school purposes or is unused or underutilized, the school district may sell or lease the public school facility. A school district may petition for a waiver as it applies to an unused, underutilized public school facility within the school district. Currently, there's a 2-year wait once it becomes unused or unutilized. However, this waiver letter allows us to do a 30-day period with the division. So if upon board approval, the district would like to submit a waiver letter to the division to sell or lease Bell Point property.
All right, thank you, Mr. Schaefer. Any questions from the board? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve to submit the waiver letter for the sale or lease of the Bell Point property.
Motion to approve.
Thank you, Ms. Kraft. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Harding. Any discussion from the board? Seeing none, all those in favor, please indicate by raising your right hand. And that passes unanimously as well. Thank you. Item number 10, our next agenda item is to consider the use of the opt-out consent model for the administration of the APNA or APNA survey. This is an item we discussed last month as well. Mr. Mahan.
Yes, this just reminds you, we did have a thorough discussion this last month. This will be a brief discussion and also the opportunity to ask any additional questions after the presentation last month. Dr. Farrell, if you'll come forward, please.
Good evening, Superintendent Mahan, Board President Person, and members of the board. Back in September, as Mr. Mahan said, we provided an overview of the APNA, Arkansas Prevention Needs Assessment Survey. This is the statewide tool used to assess the prevention needs of youth, including substance abuse, use, mental health, and other social behaviors. The APNA survey provides this district with valuable data that helps identify areas of concern, track trends across grade levels, and guide the development of programs that support student well-being. By using an opt-in consent model starting in 2024, the district's participation rates have dropped dramatically in recent years. To give some perspective, in 22-23, over 2,700 students participated. In 2023-2024, participation fell to 51 students, and then last year in 24-25, 68 students participated. All right. This decline has made the data much less reliable and as a result more difficult for the district to use when applying for grants and really evaluating programs. Historically, APNA data has been used as a resource in securing funding such as the School-Based Health Center grant and the Drug-Free Communities grant, which does fund a prevention specialist. It's also guided district initiatives like professional development for staff, drug education speakers, Safe School Helpline, and suicide prevention. Discussion from the September board meeting lent itself to amending the opt-out proposed letter to 8th, 10th, and 12th grade parents. The 2025 version of APNA is still available for parents to review by coming into the office. However, in this new amended version of the opt-out letter that we amended, we also included a link to the 2024 version APNA survey that is linked for parents to review. So they're very close, but that is available for them to click the link. We're returning to the opt-out model, as the district has used in the past years, would make participation easier for families and allow the district to collect more representative data. Higher participation rate strengthens our ability to continue securing vital community resources and tailoring support of our students. Today, we are bringing an action item to the board to formally consider moving to an opt-out consent model for the 2025 APNA administration. Thank you for your attention and continued support for initiatives to promote student wellness and strengthening our community partnerships.
All right, thank you, Dr. Farrell. Board members, last meeting we had a good discussion on this topic. Good questions were asked as well. First off, are there any questions for Dr. Farrell, Mr. Mahan, anyone else in attendance at this time? All right, then, no, Ms. Hall, do you have a question? Yes, go right ahead.
I appreciate what was done with the letter and putting in a link to go view the 24 survey. I think that was a big gap in the last time that we did this survey. So thank you for doing that part.
Yes,
and not doing it at the 6th grade level as well, and just taking it, what is it, 8th, 10th, and 12th?
8th, 10th, and 12th.
Yes. And I appreciate everything that it funds. They're very important things for the kids, for the parents, and for the community. I do think that, and this is a state thing, My opinion I'm giving now goes to the state. There's nothing we can do about that part. But I think the questions are a little outdated, and I think they could be better. I think the questions for the survey to get the data that we are looking for could be better. Yeah, but I do appreciate what you did on that part, so.
Thank you, ma'am.
So thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. This time, I'd entertain a motion. A motion to approve the opt-out model for the administration of the APNA survey beginning in the 2025-2026 school year, or otherwise, as the board may wish. Yeah, that's fine.
I should have written these down. If a student does not return the form and they get into the survey and they decide, I don't want to take this, and they never return the form, can they just get out of it and close their computer and be done, and they can step away at any time, whether their parent did the
No harm, no
opt-out
foul.
letter or not?
No harm, no
Okay,
foul.
perfect, thank you.
All right, thank you, Ms. Hall. So back to entertaining motion to approve the opt-out model for the administration of the APNA survey beginning in the 2025-2026 school year.
So moved.
All right, thank you, Mr. Whitaker. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from Ms. Kraft. Board discussion. Any opinions anyone would like to express? Discussion. Okay. All those in favor, please indicate by raising your right hand. And this passes unanimously. It's a testament to the work of you and your team. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, item 11. The next item to consider is the school improvement plans for the 2025-2026 school year. Mr. Mahan.
Yes, again, appreciate the leadership being here tonight, and Dr. Minton has a thorough report on our letter grades and kind of go over some formula changes from 23 Atlas, or 25 Atlas versus the 23 ACT Aspire. So, Dr. Minton, that's all yours.
Okay. All right, thank you. Good evening, President Person, Mr. Mahan, school board members, colleagues. All of our principals are in attendance this evening. In the event you have questions that are very school-specific, so I appreciate their attendance here tonight. This month's academic achievement presentation will focus on two areas: school letter grades and school improvement plans. Before we begin any academic achievement presentation, it's always framed around our district's mission: equip all students with skills to become productive members of society, driven by our values: students first, relationships matter, expect accountability, operate with transparency, and prioritize student and staff safety. And the vision being one that is having the Fort Smith Public Schools be a destination district with relationships, collaboration and a culture of excellence as the focus. As we delve into the conversation on letter grades, I want to revisit with you the Arkansas's new accountability formula. But to do so, it's best to look at the old accountability formula, the formula that was used in 2023 to assign a school a letter grade. The old accountability formula looked at achievement, performance on the summative exam, a level 1, 2, 3, or 4, growth, SQSS, which is School Quality and Student Success Indicators. There were about 15 of these items, talked about attendance, there was a science piece, there was another literacy piece. And that was for elementary and middle school. If you look at high school, you will see the same three primary areas of achievement, growth, and SQSS, but with high schools, they have included graduation rate. And at that time, it was a 4-year graduation rate or a 5-year graduation rate. The new formula still looks at achievement, and it looks at growth. We no longer have SQSS. For elementary and middle schools, the formula focuses on achievement, growth of all students, and growth of students who are in most need of support, and that is students performing in the lowest 25% of those taking the assessment. There are 900 points that a school can earn, and it's divided on the right into 100-point pieces. For high school, still 900 points. It's just divvied up a little differently. Achievement is still a factor. Oh, one thing I do want to point out with the new formula, the old formula looked at students' performance on English, language arts, and math. The new formula looks at English, language arts, math, and science performance equally. You see that with secondary, there is achievement, growth of all students, growth of the lowest 25%, and graduation rate. Graduation rate is divided into two kind of different areas. First of all, the number of students who graduated in 4 years as expected. Then, the students who graduated and who did so with merit or distinction. And so a student would either get a point or not if they graduated with this additional credential. Now, the standard will change in 2027 with regard to what constitutes graduation with merit or distinction. Until that time, merit or distinction includes AP courses, International Baccalaureate, concurrent courses, or students who have a seal of biliteracy, or H2, an H2 concentrator, so high wage, high demand pathway that would lead to one of these occupations, like accounting, criminal justice, banking, nursing. Because growth is such an enormous piece of the new formula, as a matter of fact, for elementary and middle schools, it's roughly 66% of the 900 points is based on growth. So I wanted to just talk a little bit, just a minute about growth, just to revisit or refresh us on growth. The state uses what's called a value-added model. So every student who is taking the summative has a growth trajectory, and it's based upon up to 4 years of performance. So if I take the test as a third grader, that's my baseline, then there is a statistical calculation that predicts or projects how much growth I should make when I take the assessment in 4th grade, and then in 5th grade, and then in 6th grade, etc. Looking at the big picture data, and I know this is data that you have seen previously, so I won't belabor it, but I did want to point out that this is divided into elementary, and the next slide will be secondary, and that is solely because there is a different point spread associated with each letter grade. To the far right, a column has been included that notes how close the letter grade was to being at the next highest letter grade, or in some cases by how much it exceeded what was required for that letter grade. Secondary big picture data, same kinds of information. What's different is the point spread with regard to each letter grade. It's different for secondary than it is for elementary. We always look at how we compare with regard to other school districts, with regard to the state, particularly with regard to highest performance, and schools who are still supporting significant student growth. That's included on this slide, but I also want to reshare with you that 12 of our schools increased their letter grade, 7 of our schools stayed the same, 5 schools are focused on growth, and 5 schools are within 5 points of the next higher letter grade. And this slide has all schools, elementary and secondary. And kind of shifting into the school improvement portion of this program, the slide that you're looking at now has listed the 4 goals that are on our district scorecard with the focus on continuous improvement. And those goals are reading on grade level by 3rd grade and every year thereafter, performing math on grade level, having schools and administration buildings that are safe, welcoming environments where relationships matter, and providing relevant secondary classes maximizing student choice. You will see these goals reflected in every one of our schools' school improvement plan, if applicable. The last goal is not applicable for our elementary schools. But the reason why each of our schools have these same goals is because of the slide you're looking at now, so that all arrows across the district system-wide are focused on the same district goals. Linked to this slide are each school's school improvement plans. The next slide is just a summary of some next steps. We will be, members of central office support teams will be meeting with each school team in the next days, weeks ahead, to have conversations with regard to their school's individual multi-tiered system of support. And that's just kind of a fancy way of saying, here's what we do for all students, here's what we do for students who need additional support, and here's what we do yet more for students who need the most support. You may have heard this referred to as Tier 1, and that's core. Tier 2, which is core plus more. Tier 3, which is core plus more plus more. It's important to note that this is not a replacement model. It is an addition. It is in addition to core, in addition to what is received core plus more if it is needed. Just a little further breakdown. Remember, Tier 1 is core, and that is what all students access. And we think of it as the right standard at the right time and the right level of rigor. We are continuing to review student work and analyze that work for alignment with that, with regard to right standard, right time, and right level of rigor. That rigor that's specified in the standard and that students will be assessed at on the summative. And I've just indicated on the slide some additional information, actually some support that is provided to all schools that have a letter grade of C or below. Tier 2 in the pyramid, it's not all students, that pyramid is narrowing, and it's some students. It's some students who need core that everyone receives, in addition to more targeted support, which may be small reading groups, it may be behavior contracts. Those are just some examples of what you may see within our school's school improvement plans specific to actions. While we specify as a district the goals, each school identifies actions specific to achieve those goals. And Tier 3, the bottom part of the pyramid, are for students who receive the core. They receive the core plus more, maybe a small group that's focused on reading, but they still need additional support, and that support is identified as Tier 3. And some of the kinds of items you might see in actions, functional behavior assessments, a behavior intervention plan, one-on-one paraprofessional, or more frequent meeting of a small group, or for a longer period of time. And finally, ending with a quote from our very own superintendent. We don't need to go and look further for wisdom and guidance, so wanted to make sure you have that. Any questions that I can ask regarding this presentation?
All right, board members, this is an item we approve on an annual basis. I hope you all saw within the PowerPoint presentation the link to all of the school improvement plans themselves. Are there questions for Dr. Minton on this? Or comment, Mr. Mahan?
Just for clarification, will you tell the board what CMSI means?
Yes, it's Curriculum Management Systems Institute. Sorry, that's a group that we used about 3 years ago maybe that came in and they did a curriculum audit, and they have been working with us to elevate and support students' level of rigor throughout this time, and we are staying consistent with that practice because in improving students' level of rigor, the level of rigor on assignments that students are given will align with the assessment that they are administered. And I think I said questions that I could ask. Sorry, I meant questions I could answer.
Well, I mean, you probably could ask. We have a room full of principals behind you.
They're awesome. Yep.
Yeah, and I don't know who put this as the last agenda item, but we did get here in record time probably, on National Principals Month, no less.
Yeah, that was me.
Yeah.
I meant to have it the first item. I think I told people it would be, and I forgot. I forgot.
No worries. Board members, questions, comments?
Yeah.
Mr. Harding?
I've got a question.
Yes, sir.
I guess my main question, and this is for either you or Mr. Mahan, is on the plan for
Yes,
Tier
sir.
1, 2, and 3, it seems to require additional support or additional staff, whether in counselors or adult mentors. Where does this staff come from?
It's not always a different or additional staff. It may be a repurposing of the staff we have or shifting priorities. For example, we have individuals who work with small groups of students in reading. Well, those individuals have existed. However, the groups now they work with may be smaller. There may be more frequent progress monitoring, and they may meet more frequently than previously, but it wasn't additional staff.
I'd like to add to that too, is we've done some classroom visits. Always very impressed with our elementary classrooms. There are differentiated instructions going on. If you've noticed, you'll see a pod of students working in this, and you'll see the teacher pull a group of students here. They're providing Tier 1 and intervention almost simultaneously with the way they break down the classroom. That's one level of support
Yes,
that we
sir.
often miss, but they make it look very easy, but it's a very complex process.
Good question, Mr. Harding. You got more?
I do, yes.
Go ahead.
Yes, sir.
Back on the slides with the grades, you have some color coding, green and yellow, but I didn't really understand what the green and yellow meant. Can you explain that?
Sure, absolutely, and I apologize. I should have indicated a color key. Let me get to the first slide. Green means that there was an increase from the last letter grade to this letter grade.
Like from last year to this year?
We
or-
didn't have one in 2024. The last one was in 2023, and so it's looking at what the letter grade was in 2023, and did it go up, or is it a letter grade that indicates to us that we need to provide our schools with additional support?
So that was green, and then yellow is,
Yellow is if the letter grade went down
Okay.
from the previous year's letter grade.
okay,
And then no color was, it stayed the same.
understood. And on this slide, you have 12% of schools, is that across the state received an A?
It is
And so what's the Fort Smith, so 8%
8%.
of our
Uh-huh.
schools in our district received an A? Okay.
Yes, sir. And the same with the lower letter grade.
Anything else, Mr. Harding?
No, that's it.
Okay.
Anything else I can ask? Anything?
I have questions on the school improvement plans. I noticed some themes that were consistent in almost every single one of them, like University of Florida Learning Initiative,
Youth
something called
Light.
Lexia,
Youth Light,
and
uh-huh.
Capturing Kids' Heart. I know I know a lot about capturing kids' heart. I don't know anything about Lexia or UFLI. What can you tell me about those?
Well, with UFly, that is UFlight. That's how we refer to it, and it is a very intensive, explicit K2 phonics program that we use to supplement the reading program that we use K5.
Is that a district initiative? Is
It
that
is.
why that and Lexia appear in so many of these? Because
Yes,
those are
sir.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Same with capturing.
Yes,
kids'
sir.
heart. Okay, thank you. Other board members?
I do have another
Go right
question,
ahead.
and this may be a little bit more school specific.
Yes,
but,
sir.
On our schools that have the lowest or that have fallen in a grade, what are the, whether it's counseling or the staff, whether it's teachers or someone else that would provide this plan, what does that staff and support look like for schools that have the lowest grades?
Some of those items were listed on a slide previously for schools that have a C or below, and it includes our subject area coordinators spending considerably more time at those schools. It's triaging, and it's schools who are deserving of more support from us. But that is one of the ways in which we are supporting their efforts. Learning walks that occur across the district occur more frequently at these schools, where we visit in the classrooms and have conversations with the teachers and leadership about how we can support their good work more. What patterns and trends are you seeing? And so that happens more frequently at the schools who are deserving of more support from us.
Can you talk about any additional support from the state level, from the Department of Ed?
Yes, thank you. For those schools, the State Department provides literacy coaches who will come on site and will work with our teachers in their classroom in literacy, in elevating and accelerating student achievement, and that's provided from the state. And the provider that we had last year, I hope that those who worked with these individuals feel the same way, but I found their support to be very credible and very helpful. So we're glad to have that to build upon. Additionally, with CMSI, besides just looking at student work across the district, we are bringing actually individuals from CSI to those schools to spend time in the classrooms, to meet with schools guiding coalitions so that teachers can bring in work and they can have conversations right then with the consultant about the level of rigor and how to elevate the level of rigor so it will be aligned with the way in which the student will be assessed.
On the letter grades, I will give my opinion that no one's asked for. I think this slide really, I love comparisons. I'm glad we have this, but I really think we're comparing apples and oranges. I mean,
Correct.
the state
Absolutely.
state took 2 years to come out with this model, but this model is completely different from the prior one. I mean, this model's so focused on growth
Yes.
that I think there's just a lot of abnormalities that it'll be more beneficial comparing this year to next year than 23
Yes.
to 25.
You're absolutely right. Yes, good observation.
Other questions, comments? Ms. Martinez, I saw that hand going up.
I was just going to ask a question. When it comes for that multi-tiered system, and you know how you have the academics and behavior, does it have a breakdown of that? Like in certain schools, would you be able to tell if it's more based on behavior that's affecting the growth?
What you would see in the school improvement plans would be actions, perhaps more actions, besides what you might see just to elevate the students' progress in reading, math, or science. You may see additional actions specifically targeted at behavior, more so than you would see on other campuses. And each school teams meet to determine what actions they believe would be most beneficial in each of those areas. But that's just to point out that we're not just looking at academics, we're also looking at behavior that certainly can impact academics.
I agree, because there's a big part of when you start looking at grades, you have to look at individuals,
Yes.
socioeconomic status, behavior and all that. That takes into effect to grades too.
Yes, and each of our building leaders, each of our principals do a fabulous job at having conversations with their staff about specifics related to what they have available on their campus, what they may additionally need, and how to use the data to drive continued student progress.
With that data, are you able to get kind of like pinpoint, okay, so if you recognize that certain schools need more behavioral support, or like, like even the shoes for kids, things like that, are you able to kind of use that as a presentation to see where that support could be, given to the community so they can see this is the area that needs it?
Sure, many times they include some of those really cool, unique actions in that school's school improvement plan. As far as anything additional that a school might need to support their good work, they tell us. So that's, none of these people are shy at letting us know what they might additionally need from us, and that's our job.
Ms. Kraft and then Ms. Hall.
Full disclosure, last year, I did look through all of this ahead of time. This time I did not.
Okay.
The link didn't work when I clicked it, and I never went back and did it again. So busting myself out, it's fine. My favorite part about all of these, though, is the action plan part. We have all these numbers, and I agree, Dalton, that we are comparing apples to oranges. I appreciate y'all so much dealing with a moving target, and I'm so sorry that I feel like every year you guys have a moving target of what you're supposed to achieve and what numbers you're supposed to track and what assessment you're supposed to give changes all the time. And I know that tests your patience because all you're trying to do is help these kids.
Right.
I did love Beard. My favorite part, this is the KISS method. What do we want our students to learn? How do we know if they learned it? What will we do if they didn't learn it? What will we do if they did?
Yeah.
I love that.
Absolutely.
At the end of the day, I mean, I think, and so I know this is very complicated. It is 93 pages, and I know you worked really hard
Well,
on it.
not one school improvement plan.
Right,
but,
right. I think, honestly, I think last time we did this, it was
Did
like
it just feel like
140 plus
that?
pages, I remember. I needed better glasses for that. But these action plans, where the goals and who's responsible and what's the timeline, I think that's the meat of all of these and what's really going to be important to come back to. This is a lot of work that y'all have in front of you, and we need to do whatever we can to support you. So.
And these principals are laser focused to the extent that they can tell you by name, by subject, by grade level, who is growing, who's not, and what they're doing about it.
First, thank you, principals, for doing this. I did read through it ahead of time. My link worked. A lot of work goes into this. I know that from past experience, but thank you. They were very detailed, very easy to read and to follow. My question for you, though, is
Yes, ma'am.
Every school improvement plan had to do with everyone will be able to read, at
Yes,
third
ma'am.
grade, and then they will maintain that reading level as they progress or above. I noticed back on our new hires page earlier, we were moving around a lot of our interventionists, and now some are not somewhere full-time. They're having to split between two schools. Are we now lacking in our reading interventionists area if we're having to pull full-timers and now they're half-time and having to, some students are now not maybe receiving the services. Maybe they tested out. I don't know all the details on that part, but maybe they're not receiving services they could if we still had a full-time interventionist there. As a parent with a child that I have experience in that area, it's extremely important. And I don't want, with this test coming up where the third graders, they got to pass it or they're retained, and we don't even know what that's going to look like yet. I'm really concerned when I see that now we have interventionists that were somewhere full-time, and now they're splitting their time between two schools.
Sure, just to speak to that a little bit, with our dyslexia interventionist, those individuals are the number that we have are dictated by the number of students who are eligible for that type of intervention. Many times they're shifted because at a school there is no longer the number of students who are eligible for that specific intervention, and so we shift them. Our goal would be to work them completely out of existence and take their good skills and use them in the classroom.
I wasn't specifically talking about the dyslexia ones, the ones that have been identified as their borderline. We really need to retain them in this intervention class to make sure they don't fall behind, because it could happen, specifically these third graders. So I'm not talking about the dyslexia intervention, it's just the other.
Interventionist paraprofessionals.
Yes, ma'am,
yes,
it's the paras, yes.
Who are our stopgap measure, hopefully to prevent students from needing additional support, particularly in literacy. We move interventionist paraprofessionals to different schools based on need as well. So it is our plan always, and has been in the past, to shift staff according to student need, whether it be paraprofessionals or whether it be dyslexia interventionist. That doesn't mean that everyone wouldn't like more, and I would like that for them also. It's just using staff, it's triaging staff where there's the greatest need.
All right, good questions, feedback. Board, other questions?
Yeah, I have another question. What goes into the, I'm guessing this is the school improvement plan planning team. What goes into deciding who's on it or who gets to be on it? Tell me a little bit about that.
Sure. When you look at the school improvement plans, you will notice different compositions from school to school in terms of the number of teachers, whether there's a counselor, community members, parents, etc. It's driven by the principal. Oftentimes the assistant principal is a member of this team. Typically what happens, not that this is how every school does this, but the principal will look at the school improvement plan from the previous year. They will have conversation with staff regarding what seemed to work and what didn't. Then they come and meet with a district team. We sit down with each principal and whomever they'd like to bring so that we can have conversation about what seemed to work and what might need to be looked at differently, just based on the data, strictly based on the data. And so a principal will take that back to their buildings, and they will oftentimes take it to their school guiding coalition and get feedback on something that the principal may have already tweaked and may have added some elements, either actions to some of the goals, but that is taken to the district guiding coalition most often. Some of our schools even have surveys where they push it out to the staff to get feedback from the staff as to what they see would be viable options. Whether it is a survey or a Google form that's pushed out, this is a document that is to be shared with the entire staff. Feedback from the entire staff used to make any modifications, because it is the entire staff who will live and breathe it each day.
Other questions, comments from the board? All right, we do need to approve the school improvement plan, so I'll entertain a motion to approve the school improvement plans for the 2025-2026 school years presented.
Motion to approve.
Thank you, Ms. Kraft. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, thank you, Ms. Lott. Any further discussion from the board? All those in favor, please indicate by raising your right hand. And those are approved. Thank you. Next was board member forum. Board members, November's regularly scheduled board meeting is moved up a week because of Thanksgiving. It'll be November 17th. And at this time, we'll ask if you have any other items you request bringing forward at that meeting or any information you'd wish to share. We'll start with Mr. Harding.
I'd like to say thank you to all those who reached out to me for questions, comments about a variety of topics. Please keep the communication, and I respond to all of them, and I try to stay in touch, so thank you.
Ms. Lott?
As usual, there's always a lot of information to take in and sift through, and it takes a lot of time to do it, and I appreciate all the fellow board members who do get the time to do it. I'm kind of with Ms. Kraft. I tried to get into it, and I couldn't get into it, so trying to read it all now becomes interesting. But I would also like to say for all the community, we talk about these surveys that go out a lot, and I feel like the community doesn't understand how important these surveys are to us. So I'd like to encourage anybody, whether they're a parent, a staff member, anybody who gets them, to fill them out to the best of your ability so we can get an actual idea of what our needs are. So anyway, I just thought about that with our last one that we did. There was a lot of surveys that I feel like people pass by and don't do them. So.
Ms. Kraft.
Agreed. There's a lot of decisions that are going to have to be made coming up soon. And I think the biggest takeaway from that is that I think we as a board are going to do the very best we can to do the very best for all of our students. That's what we're charged with. The only problem with that is that we're never going to make everybody happy. And so we're going to do our very, very best to do that. So yes, I agree. Those surveys are really important. I have read through all of them. Even though I didn't do my homework today, I typically do always. I enjoy getting those survey responses and hearing that feedback. Agreed. And happy that people are emailing. I encourage that as well. So that we can get that feedback. Only other thing I want to say when you talk about making everybody happy, Patrick and Carolyn Todd will celebrate their 60th wedding anniversary tomorrow. So my sweet little mama and dad sent 4 kids through Northside High School and have raised 4 ornery kids, and will celebrate their 60th wedding anniversary tomorrow. So happy anniversary to Meemaw and Pop.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Kraft. Mr. Whitaker.
While some of them have excused themselves after the final presentation, just wanted to say thank you to the administrators who do show up. We may not often call on you or reference you, but your appreciation and attendance, or excuse me, your attendance is appreciated in these moments. So thank you all for being here.
Ms. Martinez.
I agree. Thank you for the presentation, and thank you for all the information. You guys do a good job. Thank you.
Ms. Hall.
I'm just glad October's about over. And I don't know about you guys, but October has been so busy. But seen a lot of good things. I got to go visit several school buildings with Mr. Mahan this month, a couple of times this month. Saw lots of wonderful things happening within the district. Met lots of wonderful administrators and teachers. So I greatly appreciate that. Keep up all the hard work, and thank you for being here, because it takes time out of your evening, time from your families, and that is really important. So thank you.
All right, Mr. Mahan, you got any questions or any final comments for the board?
No, just appreciate our leadership and the great work they do.
If there's no further business to come before the board, we're adjourned.